Hello again, this is Dusty King with King and King PLC, and this is the second video in our series regarding the Tennessee Permanent Parenting Plan form. The goal is to walk you through the various provisions of the Permanent Parenting Plan, give you a better idea of the information that is needed and the decisions that you need to make so you can structure a permanent parenting plan that's right for you and your children. In our first episode, we talked about some of the basic information here at the top of the plan and what this information, the purpose of this information. And now we're going to move on to more of what I'm going to call the meat and potatoes of the permanent parenting plan, and that's getting into the residential parenting schedule. Now, in the state of Tennessee, one person has to be named the primary, or one parent has to be named the primary residential parent, and that would leave the other parent as the alternate residential parent. And a simple definition of what a primary residential parent is: the primary residential parent is the parent where the child is spending the majority of his or her time. Now, you can have permanent parenting plans where the child is spending 182 and one half days with mom and 182 and one half days with dad. But even in that instance, we still have to have someone designated as the primary residential parent and someone designated as the alternate residential parent. So, for our purposes today, we will assume that mom is going to be the primary residential parent. So in this section here, you would state mother's name. Now, this next paragraph, based on the number of days that the child is going to spend with each parent. This is significant for several reasons, but probably one of the biggest reasons is it will have an effect on the amount of child support. The child support guidelines presume that the alternate residential parent is spending somewhere between 69 and 92 days out of the year with the child, or I should say the child is spending that much time with the alternate residential parent. And the idea under the child support rules in the state of Tennessee are that, so long as the child is with a parent, that parent is helping support the needs of that child, and child support is supposed to make up the difference between that time allotment. Where you're not, I don't want to say overburdening, but one parent's not pulling more of the load than the other parent should be when it comes to the financial aspects of raising the child. And we'll get into a little further detail in other videos when it comes to child support. But just know that this does have an effect. The number of days does have an effect. Now, you'll hear some attorneys talk about standard parenting time, standard parenting time in my neck of the woods, which is West Tennessee. And I think if you review the child support guidelines of the state of Tennessee would lead to this as well. It's usually 285 days out of the year with the primary residential parent, and then 80 days out of the year with the alternate residential parent, and we can adjust from there. Now, the day-to-day schedule is what it sounds like. It's on the average day, where are the children going to be? So in this provision, either mother or father will have the responsibility for the care of the children except for these following times. So if you were looking at a situation where the alternate residential parent was going to receive every other weekend, then you would specify the details of that arrangement in this provision here. Now, my suggestion to you is you don't want to just say every other weekend. You want to be as specific on this as you can. What I typically do is if it's going to be an every other weekend situation, then we're going to say from Friday at 6 p.m. until Sunday at 6 p.m. every other week. So you want to get that detailed. Even if it's going to be from, say, Friday after school, you're going to want to say Friday after school or at 3 p.m. if the children are not in school until maybe Monday return to school, or 8 a.m. If the children are not in school. So you want to be as detailed as you can throughout the aspects of the parenting plan. In addition to what the provision in the first part of Section B, we have this additional time that can be allotted for the alternate residential parent. For example, if if you've got an every other weekend situation, that's a long time to go without seeing your kids. So the alternate residential parent may want the opportunity to see the child, let's say Wednesday from the time school is dismissed, or maybe 5 p.m. if they get off work at 5, until 8 a.m. That evening. This gives at least the alternate residential parent some time to spend some quality time with the child, maybe take them to dinner, take them to Chuck E. Cheese or what have you. And you can allot for that kind of time in this section. I've also seen it where maybe the alternate residential parent will even get an overnight in the middle of the week in the off weeks. That can also be done. But understand, I'm just giving you examples here. Parenting plans really need to be customized to your situation, and I wouldn't get too bogged down in what is considered "quote unquote" normal, because I don't know that there is any such thing. But you're going to want this to work for you and your children, however that may be. So that's our day-to-day schedule in a nutshell. And we'll move on to the other provisions, but the day-to-day schedule is going to be some of the most important, if not one of the most important, provisions in a permanent parenting plan. But as I mentioned in other videos, if you are looking to prepare a permanent parenting plan, I would certainly encourage you to talk with an attorney in your area. That attorney should have a pretty good grasp on what the tendencies of the court is in your county, what the judge likes to do, doesn't like to do, what he likes to see or she likes to see or doesn't like to see in these permanent parenting plans. Like I tell folks, attorneys are people too. We're just a little crankier, so don't be intimidated to go sit down with them and pick their brain and see what you can come up with. If I can be of any assistance, feel free to contact me. Our phone number is 731-664-6864, or you can visit us on the web. We're at www.kingplc.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, thanks for checking in.